Happy Sunday everyone, I hope you're all well. We are of course really now getting close to the expected June launch of Tesla's Robotaxi, which means the start of the commercialization of Tesla's autonomy vehicle platform, which then means the shift is happening. The shift towards high margin reoccurring software revenue. It also means that this is the real start of Tesla actually getting their revenue from other options, not just hardware sales, not just EVs and a bit of energy. And it is also really important in terms of the stock as a signal to the broader market that Tesla is very much a real autonomy play, an AI player. And I do think when this launch happens, hopefully, fingers crossed, it will happen as planned in June, but you know, whether it happens in June or July, whatever, when it happens, I think it's going to be an oh my moment for a lot of people. For obviously Tesla investors, we're going to be, you know, oh my, that is happening, it's fantastic, it's this, it's that. But I think obviously we're in it. You know, we're seeing what's happening. We're keeping up to date with all the new information that's coming out. But just for the average person and the broader market and analysts and things, it's going to be an oh my moment because it's happening. You know, we've been speaking about it for a long time. But I think this news is going to travel really fast with social media. You know, if something comes out today, the whole world knows about it within a minute. It's going to happen a lot faster than it happened when the iPhone was launched, put it that way. But of course, this whole thing will take time. Like I said in a previous video, I can't remember which one, I probably said it in a few. The financial benefit to Tesla, which of course a lot of Wall Street really care about, they want to see these numbers on the earnings, that won't happen overnight. It's going to take a while for that actually to hit. But I do think that the Robotaxi will scale very rapidly. It will start small and then it will begin to scale. And although this launch is incredibly important, it's not a given that it's going to happen perfectly. There are still risk factors involved and there are many things that we need to look for. There are going to be some interesting details that come out that just give us Tesla investors insight into how this is actually going to be ran, insight that we don't currently have. But also there's some certain things that Tesla need to absolutely get right for this to be deemed as a success by other people. There's a lot we still need to learn. Firstly, area of coverage. Now, of course, if you know anything about Tesla versus competitors, Tesla have gone about solving vehicle autonomy in their own way, and a way that I think gives them the advantage, a way that I think is a lot better. They use a pure vision AI approach. This means they don't rely on pre-mapped like geo-fenced areas like competitors do. And this means that this should mean that they are able to scale a lot faster and a lot more easily. So once it's worked in one city, so with the first launch, once it's seen to work there, it will just be a case of replication, not reinvention. They don't have to do anything extra. It's just kind of like a copy and paste job at that point. But of course, it is going to be determined a lot by regulation. And that's where the next thing comes in, safety. It is going to be incredibly important that in those first however many months, however many weeks, whatever, of launch, the robotaxis are seen to be incredibly safe and there are no issues. It needs to be very consistent, and if there is an issue, I really do think this is going to impact Tesla's stock and, you know, people's opinion of the robotaxi quite heavily. That's not to say they can't overcome it, but yeah, I don't think that will happen given the data that shows how safe robotaxis are and Tesla's autonomy really is. But that's something to look out for as well. And if they are able to show a very high level of safety, there's no reason then that regulation should really stop this expanding to new cities and new areas globally even. And then we've got the cost advantage. With Tesla's autonomous vehicle platform, you need no driver, obviously, that's kind of the point. But that's the case across any autonomous vehicle platform. You have no driver. So although Tesla are, you know, saving money there, so are competitors. But the thing is, Tesla can manufacture autonomy ready EVs for a lot cheaper and a lot quicker than some of the competitors can. And that comes down to, you know, a number of things. The ability to scale that Tesla have, the factories, the manufacturing lines, all of those things, but also just the design and the way that they've solved autonomy. So with other competitors, they're going to need so much hardware, whereas Tesla, like I said, have taken a very different approach. So I think that's a real advantage, but what we need to see come launch is what prices are being charged to customers. Now, the prices I think will get smaller and smaller as time goes on and the fleet expands. This is a real potential for lower pricing and higher margins for Tesla. Then we've got the reliability and the user experience. If it's clunky, if it's not reliable, if people aren't enjoying it, people aren't adopting the robo-taxi very quickly and very happily, you know, this could be a problem. I don't think that will be the case at all. I think it will be absolutely fantastic. It needs to be simple, it needs to be intuitive, and it needs to consistently function well without any bugs and any problems. We've seen some insight into what the app's going to be like, but we haven't really seen the end-to-end solution of the app working with the platform itself. Me being over here in the UK, I'm not going to experience that, which is kind of sad. I would love to be one of the first 100 people to get a robo-taxi experience. But if you guys do live in the area of launch and you are going to film the experience, please do tag me, please do send me videos. I'd absolutely love to see that. And then I'm just interested to see all the normal things, you know, the trip volume, what the city expansion rate is, how quickly are they going to expand into new cities, the fleet size, and all these other things. But just going back to the broader picture here, just zooming out a minute, I think the use cases for robotaxi are really, really large, much larger than I originally estimated. Now I've had time to really sit and think about it. Of course, there's the obvious, you know, everyday travel, people traveling to school, people traveling to work. Then there's long distance travel, city to city. So any opportunity where you would use public transport, a train, a bus, a boat even, you might actually just opt for a robotaxi because it's easier, it's quicker, it's more comfortable, and it's cheaper. Did I say that? I don't know, it's cheaper. You can use the robotaxi to send a car to go and collect people. Business wise, you can send it to go and collect clients. That's going to be a lot cheaper than paying for their travel. It's transport for people without a license. It's transport for the elderly, for the disabled. This gives way more independence. It can act as an employee shuttle service. Food delivery, Deliveroo here in the UK, you wouldn't then need a driver. That's going to get a lot cheaper. Grocery drop-off, prescription drop-off. But there's many things. Let me know what you can think of. I think there's a really wide-reaching range of use cases. Now, with that said, Cathie Wood from ARK Invest has recently reiterated her price target for Tesla stock, and she is confident that Tesla will reach $2,600 per share by 2030. In fact, I think her confidence in this target has recently increased due to the upcoming commercialization of the robotaxi platform that we're expected to see in June. Now, I believe that $2,600 per share is the, what's it called? Not the bullish case, not the bearish case, the middle case, the expected price target. And that's really high. You know, that's really, really high. That's a 9x return in 5 years. Now, I know it wouldn't necessarily happen like this, but if you average it out, that's a roughly a 55% compound annual growth rate for the next 5 years. And that would place Tesla among the most explosive multi-year runs in a stock that has been seen, like consistently over 5 years. 9x in 5 years is very, very good. Has it happened before? Has it been heard of before? Sure, but it's big. You know, it's kind of like Amazon in the early 2000s, Nvidia, what we've seen happen in Nvidia. And if this happens, the market cap of Tesla would become something crazy. You know, you'd have to work this out, but like $8-9 trillion. So that basically what Cathie Wood is saying is that Tesla is going to become one of, if not the largest company in the entire world. And like I said, that's the base case. That's it, base case. And like I said, this is her base case. Her bull case would give a return of an 11x in the same time frame. And the important thing here to remember is that this price target from ARK is solely based off the robotaxi business. So this is not including the energy business. So, you know, mega packs are doing very, very well. This is not including the humanoid robot. This is not including Optimus. So when you factor in what could happen with Optimus, things get even crazier. Elon has said many, many times that he thinks that the humanoid robot business will be way, way, way bigger than anything that's ever been seen before. much bigger than Tesla's robotaxi. It's going to dwarf it. And one thing that Kathy did recently say is that actually the progression that Optimus is seeing is happening a lot quicker than she anticipated. So I can very much imagine behind the scenes they're doing those calculations and they're thinking, hang on a minute, this could get very, very big very quickly. And I've spoken about the potential of Optimus before. It's humongous. It really is mind-blowing. It's really hard to comprehend, and we're just going to have to see it play out, honestly. But it's going to completely rewrite the labour market, put it that way. And Tesla's very much on the edge of this already. They're training Optimus in their own factories, and this is going to happen a lot quicker, I imagine, than the rollout of the robotaxi fleet, because obviously you've got to put the cars out in the environment, safety issues, all of these things. Whereas the Optimus bot can develop a lot quicker because they're put in controlled environments. They're within the Tesla factories themselves. Also, her target doesn't involve EV sales, which, you know, will be very, very small come 2030, I imagine, but I think they're going to continuously grow. Insurance, Dojo as a service. I did make a video a while ago. I'll leave it in the link below. I need to find it. I'll leave it in the description below, sorry, linked. But in that video, I spoke about many, many other businesses that Tesla could actually go on to have. I think it's interesting. Go and watch that video if you're interested, and drop a comment on that video and let me know if there's anything I'm missing over there. So is this price target of $2,600 a share by 2030 even possible? When you first hear that figure, it initially doesn't seem that way. How is that possible? That seems absolutely crazy. But I do think that Tesla is about to grow like mad. This is just my thoughts, you know, it could be absolutely wrong, but I think they're going to grow really quickly when these new businesses that we've been talking about for a while do get up and running. But what is this actually based on? Well, ARK expects 90% of Tesla's future earnings to come from the robotaxi platform. They are thinking that Tesla, and this is kind of what we're seeing play out, Tesla will start with its own fleet and then transition to third-party operators. The idea basically behind their thesis is that each car becomes an AI-powered cash machine. High margin. AI-powered cash machine. And she also thinks that the local manufacturing will give them an advantage. And again, thinking about tariffs, they will be more protected by future possible tariffs based on this as well. And that Tesla will come out on top compared to other competitors like Waymo, like Lyft, whoever else, because of all the advantages that they have. I think so too. Now, although, like I said, this target isn't based necessarily on Optimus itself, I think she has recently commented on the fact that Elon thinks that Tesla is the #1 player in the humanoid robotics market, and I believe she agrees. And then I don't know if she said this or Elon said this, but China will basically take second best all the way up to 10th best. It's interesting. It is interesting. I do believe that Tesla will dominate the humanoid robot market. I think there'll be multiple players, but I think especially in China for sure. But I do think Tesla will come out on top. And like I said, the thing with the humanoid robotics is that the market is so wide reaching. There's so much money to be made there that even if Tesla take 10% of the market, which I think they'll take more, but even if they take a small 5%, 10%, the profit that they make on that is massive. Like, it completely changes the game. And the robotaxi plus Optimus are basically saying that Tesla are going to be in the lead because of their leads in AI, in energy storage, in robotics, and all these things work together. And I think that's absolutely spot on. I think that there's a real ecosystem that Tesla are building, and everything's interlinked, and we're going to see that play out more and more in the future, and with not just Tesla but Elon's other companies. I would also add in, like I mentioned earlier, the factories, the supply chain optimization, the scalability. That's all going to give them a very, very strong advantage over competitors. Also, ARK make a really, really good point. In their vision, they say that Dojo's vertical integration gives Tesla an edge over those that are relying on others. Basically, it comes down to faster training, faster rollout, faster market share domination. My takeaway comes down to this. Tesla is leading in physical AI. Now, physical AI is happening, but of course it doesn't just happen, like I say, overnight. These things take time. Physical AI right now, as we know it, as I know it anyway, is really sitting at the right-hand side of the AI rollout curve, if you want to call it that. You know, generative AI, agentic AI, which we're moving into very much so. Physical AI comes after those things in terms of a progression curve. And I've heard a lot of people say that Tesla is now having its iPhone iPhone moment for transportation. You know, things are changing. I do agree with that. I love that. They are doing that exactly. A fundamental shift is underway, in my opinion. And I know we've been saying that for a long, long time. And I know people are bored of hearing it's coming, but it is ambitious. It is. But I do think it's possible. I'm not going to sit here and say I exactly agree with 2,600 by this date or anything like that. But the underlying themes that tell us the reasons why these bullish price targets exist, I do agree with. And it's simply because you're no longer valuing a car company. You're not. Tesla is not a car company. They are very quickly showing us that. You're actually valuing a global autonomous ride-hailing platform that hasn't been seen before. You're valuing a distributed energy storage platform, again, that hasn't been seen before. A humanoid robot, speechless. And then you've got the AI infrastructure and the fact that everything is real-world data and all these other areas, services. Things are changing. Things are changing. Just going back to round this off to the robotaxi. I think within a few years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 2 years, I don't know, it depends how quickly they launch and they scale. The robotaxi business alone, I believe, will be much bigger than the current EV sale business. We'll have to see how that plays out, but that's what I think could happen. Recently, the last 1 month period, Tesla stock has had a really good time. I think it's up 18, 19%, something like that. But year to date, it's still down. But it's a very, very volatile stock. And expand out the chart and you'll very quickly see that it's been like this very quickly. Tesla is, just for transparency reasons, Tesla is still my largest position in terms of the total amount I've invested. However, Palantir is my largest position not because I've put more money into Palantir, but because of how well it's done. My average price on Palantir is pretty low and obviously it's skyrocketed. So it's become my biggest position. With that said, I'll leave it here. Those are just some thoughts on recently what I've been reading about Tesla, what I'm thinking. Very pivotal point we're coming up to, so do keep an eye on that. If you want more from me, you want to see more, you want to hear more, feel free to check out my Patreon. I'll leave that linked in the description below. With that said, thank you for watching. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.